All the books, all the podcasts, they all say real estate will make you rich. All you have to do is buy it. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, they all talk about buying real estate and passive income. So what I do, I bought a building. And now I'm going broke. I thought this was gonna be my big win. I thought I was gonna finally get passive income and I was gonna be able to have some sort of freedom. But to be honest, I experienced the opposite. My phone doesn't stop ringing because of leaks, plumbing that doesn't work, trash is overfilled at the property, landscaping needs to get done, electrical issues, just like a whole bunch of things that happen. In this video, I'll be breaking down exactly what happened, why I'm losing money, and the lessons I learned the hard way so you don't have to make the same mistakes. This is the
All right. Well, before we get into this one, first off, I want to say, like, I feel bad for this gentleman because I haven't watched this video yet, so we're going to be reviewing it together. Having said that, this just seems like uh, our heart really goes out to him because as an entrepreneur, investor, that's in your blood, and you want to get out there and you have a dream for yourself, and you're full of ambition. And if it's one thing that I've learned is when it's a young person with ambition, the world will see that as an opportunity and take advantage wherever they can. I'm not saying this happened to him. I know it's happened to me in different instances where I wasn't seasoned enough. You're just ready to go and you're very eager, which is all the good things. And um, it's admirable when you're ready to just take start. But having said that, this is where you get in trouble. And I always encourage people when you get into real estate, this is not a get rich quick thing you can just jump in and on the weekend when you have an idea. You just can't, it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. And I can already tell by the setup that this is going to be just painful to listen to. So let's just get through it and we'll dissect it little by little and go from there. But don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, comment, and share. I appreciate you guys. All right, let's get through this. See if we can get through this one without raising my blood pressure. All right.
breakdown. A business partner of mine found the property. He said that he wanted to partner up on it. We just had to go and negotiate with the sellers. So we met with the sellers, we negotiated the deal. We got it under contract for $555,000. This is my first investment property. So I was super excited. It's a 7-unit. It's one building and a 2-family in the back. The building consists of 2 commercial units and then 3 residential units on the top floor, and then the 2-family in the back. So a total of 7 units. Property was currently making $4,600 a month, and I figured all the rents were super low. The guy hasn't raised the rents in years, so I figured I could raise the rents to at least $8,000 to $9,000. But if I put all the rents at market rate, and I filled the 2 vacancies, I should have been at $10,190 per month if everything worked out well. But currently, the property was making $4,625. So recently, I raised all the rents, $50, 5 tenants, so that's $250, and now it's making $4,875. All right, so here's the story. I thought it would be a great deal, but reality is different, so let's run the numbers. So far, I've spent $16,419.56 on just repairs. So 2 units had to be turned over. We turned over the first one. It came out to about 10 grand, and then the rest of that, the 6,000, is just repairs that keep coming up: leaks, electrical, landscaping, and someone needed a new stove. So all these things add up. So far I'm into it for $16,419.56. It currently makes $4,875. Expenses are $6,646.76. Basically, I'm losing $1,771.76 every single month. My plan for this building was to fix the 2 units, rent them out, fix a couple other units, do like regular upgrades and updates, and then raise all the rents. Then the value of the building.
All right. He's going fast. I was trying to keep track and writing it down, but so far, just on what I'm seeing, I mean, I see where his thought process is, and I'd be curious to see how he underwrote this because it seems like there's an opportunity here, but there's a lot going on. He has talked about some repairs he has to make. It's only a 7-unit building. Looks like there has some commercial use in there, so it's a mixed use building. Uh, and it seems like it was has a lot of deferred maintenance, which is always the kicker. And one thing people get into trouble is they see a good deal and they don't underwrite it properly. They don't bring their contractors through. And maybe he did this. I don't know. I'm just going off what he said so far. We're only 2 minutes into the video. And sorry, I'm having these camera issues. But anyway, um, it sounds like he may have left a few things out. If it was a heavier repair, like getting leaks and things of that nature, that lets me know that he bought it and hasn't done anything, was expecting to just, I guess, raise the rents and turn the units. And a lot of people get into this where they'll buy a property and they'll start like, putting lipstick on it, on the interiors and stuff like that. And all my thing is go after systems. Systems are what is going to give you the it's what those are the calls you're going to get at night keeping you up, right? Your plumbing, electrical, roof, windows, those types of things, right? The fun stuff is the sinks, the countertops, the cabinets, spraying them white or whatever, changing out the kitchen light fixtures. Those are the fun stuff, right? That's the stuff that really doesn't add value, so to speak. Um, so this is what I go back to saying: you have to buy real estate correctly. You can't just see something and think it's a lower price or, ooh, it's distressed. Don't get me wrong. Those are the things you want to look at. So I commend him for having an eye to see those things, because that's definitely what you want to look for. Distressed and, a good price. And what's a good price? It's all relative. I don't know. Every market is different, but I can tell you one thing you should always be looking for and checking for is, after you know your numbers, and when I say know your numbers, knowing what your repair number is, and make sure you go in saying you need that number out of the overall price. Because if you don't get that, you're in for pain. You are in for pain. Oh man, let's keep going.
Building would be $700,000. Then I could refinance, take my original money out, and the property will still cash flow, and then I'll go ahead and buy another property. So it's the BRRRR strategy. The reality is this is a lot harder than I thought. Maintaining this
Good old
property is a
BRRRR.
lot harder than I thought, and dealing with 5 different families is actually tough. And it's something that I wasn't prepared for. But this is my first investment property,
Oh
and
wow.
maybe I bought something too big and it's just too much responsibility. I do have a property manager that takes care of like the day to day, but
And he has a property manager. That's another thing, that line item that people neglect. I self-managed because that's what my background is in. Um, and I'm also able to bring that in house. So that saves me money there. But when you're underwriting your properties, make sure you put that in the line item. That's a budget. Like, even if I don't, I put it in as if I'm not going to, right? But I'm planning on paying myself, obviously. And here's the kicker: if once you plug in your repair cost, your management cost, vacancy cost, because you should always budget the minimum. The standard is typically 5%, right? Because you never want to budget 100% occupied. Most people like to budget. The industry standard, I should say, is like 95% occupied, because you're always going to have some type of turnover, or you should. So putting that number in there is important, but knowing that that's where, if you need to not pay yourself, fine, because you're in there for the long haul anyway, and give the property some time to kind of get on its feet. That's fine, but that's definitely not a recipe for long term. But hopefully he did that.
it's still nonstop. There's always an issue, there's always something going on. But the upside is that once I do raise all the rents, the cap rate on is 18.5%, which is actually really good, even if I refinance and take the cash out. So the problem, I'm leaking money on this thing every single day. And until I rent both of those units, I'm basically losing $3,000 per month, $3,195 per month if I don't rent those.
He didn't buy it right. Sorry, I needed to get a sip of my coffee. He didn't buy it right. Um, Sounds like he's a little bit distressed. And sounds like he probably jumped the gun a little bit, looking at all the upside and not really taking into account of being diligent on his numbers. And um, it has to make sense, guys. Listen, you can go broke going cheap. If you don't know what you're doing, you can go broke going cheap. Again, I don't know all the ins and outs of this deal, but just on what I've heard so far, it sounds like he probably took a misstep or two in evaluating his deal. All right.
Other two units. I have one right now for rent, and I have a commercial unit that I was trying to get creative and have someone go ahead and rent it at a lower rent so they could fix the problems and do like a 1 or 2 year, well, maybe 2 or 3 year lease, so it makes sense for them and they can fix it slowly. They have a place to run their business.
No, 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 and no. All right. Let me just collect myself. Hold on. Gonna wake up here. All right. Here's the thing. Real estate, there's so many different disciplines in real estate and things that you have to be seasoned on and or or know enough about to make an educated guess. Commercial real estate and multifamily real estate is two different animals. When you can get them both together, like this sounds like his property, the way his property is set up, you can get them both together. Excuse my camera's being weird. That's a beautiful thing. However, if you don't know what you're doing and you're treating it like a multifamily, you're treating your commercial part of it like a multifamily part, that's dangerous. You should never, this is again, goes back to what I'm saying. Same rules apply. If you have a commercial space on your property, you got to underwrite it correctly, right? So you got to underwrite those repairs in there. And commercial real estate repairs tend to be a little bit heavier. And when I say commercial real estate, I'm not talking about, I'm talking about like whether it be industrial space, kitchen space, or anything that's like a commercial use. Not talking about loan product, talking about the use, what it's zoned for. You got to go in and get that nice and tight so that you can command the highest level of rent. Because that's on the commercial side of things. You want to use a triple net lease. I'm not going to get into that right now, but essentially the tenant is going to carry a lot of those costs for you. So you just don't want to be laissez-faire about it and get someone in here to just, hey, you just move in and you fix it. No, that's not how it works at all. You deliver them a good product and then you get a solid lease. And then every year you're reconciling your cams, that's the common area maintenance, so that you can build that stuff back. That's what you want to do. So this property sounds like it does have a lot of potential because of the mixed use, but what's the point of having a Ferrari if you don't know how to drive it, you know? And I'm not saying he doesn't, and I hope he can I hope he'll post another video soon um that kind of shows his progress of where he's at. But I fear that he may be a little bit over his head on this one. And again, it happens to the best of us, and I'm not kicking the man while he's down because I have the heart of an entrepreneur. And listen, I've stubbed my toe as well, and it doesn't feel good. And I can tell you right now, the world just moves on, and no one is gonna have your back. This is why I'm a firm believer in systems and processes and uh, mentors, good mentors, mentors that know they don't have to be like way ahead of you, but there are a few steps ahead of you. I'm a big believer in that stuff because a lot of times you get on the YouTube University, which is great. I'm here, right? I want you to watch more of my content, right? Selfishly. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe as well. But the reality is a lot of these guys on the internet and social media, they make it look sexy. It's not sexy. It's pain. It's keeps you up at night. It's grind, especially in the beginning. In the beginning, the first 5 years suck. I don't know how else to explain it. This is not for the weak. This is you got to. This will test you. And if you're married, it'll test your marriage. You'll try to figure out how you can pay one bill. Now, this is why it's so important to understand your numbers and have your numbers protect you. Let's continue on and let's see what else he has to say.
and then the property gets fixed up. But I got a couple people, but they weren't really qualified, so I had to keep looking.
That's
But I
good.
think now the only way I rent that unit is if I go ahead and fix it. And I already got several quotes to fix that unit, and it's going to be roughly $10,000. So it's $10,000 more into that unit, plus the money I already spent, plus the money every single month. So the conclusion is this cost a lot more money than I expected, and I should have budgeted a lot better. The other problem is I'm currently doing 3 other flips. So maintaining these 3 flips with this building is a lot harder than it seems, because cash flow, I need to make more money. So the answer to all this is to make more money. The lesson in all this is more expensive than you think. You're gonna get phone calls randomly at night, any day, Saturday, Sunday, it doesn't matter. People will call you because they're having trouble, and you're the one that's supposed to fix it because you own the property. The one thing I'll do differently is have more reserves, so I'm not really stressing about all these issues or when the
It's not about reserves. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's nice to have them. It's about buying correctly. Uh, it's you're. It's all about doing the work before you get to the closing table. That way, when you get to the closing table, there's no pain involved. Like I hope he should have brought this property in this economy in this market at 60 to 65% of the ARV. That's after repair value. If he didn't do that, he's just in pain. My advice to him would be wrap up the other projects you have before you dive into this one because this one's going to suck a lot of your time and life away. So get those other properties turned, get them flipped or whatever your intentions were with those other properties. Once you're done, got that project buttoned up, then you can put all your energy into this one over time. This is probably a good 2 3 year deal here, depending on how bad it is. And it sounds bad. Maybe quicker, 2 years, but these things take time. And I'd rather you know, do some patching right now and find you a good handyman that can kind of bail you out when you need to. So, uh, yeah, this this video is getting kind of long, so I'm gonna end it here. But I'll leave a link in the description so you guys can go check it out and let me know what you think in the comments below. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. All right.